All right, YouTube, hello. This is Jake Hathaway with my free-to-play only Ironman account, Suck on This 4. Coming with another update video. I haven't made one of these in several months at this point, since I maxed back in November of 2025. I've been playing pretty consistently since then, so I thought I would take some time this morning and talk about what I've been up to on both my accounts, and just kind of have a more long form ramble style video, similar to some of my other progress videos. Wasn't sure if I was ever going to make another progress video, but I enjoy making these, and it's something good to look forward to and keep preserving the progress of this account. I enjoy when other people make these type of videos, so I figured I would try to contribute to the ecosystem. I know these are great videos to listen to while skilling and hanging out and chilling. But yeah, I've really been putting a lot of hours in this account, but I don't have a ton of progress to show, relatively speaking. Ever since I maxed back in November, I really have spent most of my active playing hours focused on my pay-to-play Ironman account. While this one has basically been AFK kind of the whole time. There's been a handful of times over the past 5 or 6 months where I've done some 2-tick U's, which I can get into in a little bit. But I've been really consistent with my playing during both during the work week and the weekend. Mainly here just AFKing U's and then AFKing flesh crawlers. But since I was about to hit a milestone, I figured this was a good time as ever to make a video. About 6,000 experience off from 50 million fire making. So I'd mentioned in my last video, I am very slowly going for 200 mil wood cutting and fire making. At the rate I'm going, it's still going to take me a couple years to get there. I think in November I was around 21 mil in each of these, but I was only 53 mil strength, and now I'm up to almost 72. So we're making decent progress. I've been playing a lot during work, like I mentioned. I started a new job back in February. I had been working my previous job for the past 7 years or so, and kind of unexpectedly at the end of September, my company went out of business. We all lost our jobs. So that was a bit of a change for me. I spent a couple months unemployed, and then had to kind of figure out what I was going to do from there. Got a different job starting here in February, and the job's been good. It's a lot less stressful than my last job. Fortunately, it doesn't pay as much. I used to be a commission-based salesperson, and now I'm no longer that. So I don't have kind of the higher end earning potential I had before. But it's still a good job, and I'm enjoying my coworkers. One thing that is unfortunate about this job, though, is I do share an office with one of my coworkers, and she's really nice, and I go along with her great. But sharing an office with somebody is not super conducive to playing RuneScape all day. So I've had to get a little bit creative with getting my gains in. I've done a lot more playing on mobile on my phone, especially on this account, because doing this is really easy on mobile, although it can get kind of annoying when all the people are shown. I got Entity Hider on here, but sometimes you can accidentally click on people when you're trying to light a fire, so that can be a little bit annoying on mobile, but it's usually not too big of a problem. But also what I've been doing is I'll use Chrome Remote Desktop. Chrome Remote has been a great tool that a lot of high-level skillers have used, but I know the app version of it recently got discontinued, but the browser version still works, and the browser version works great, especially since at work we work off a Microsoft server. So I'm able to have a Google tab at the bottom that I can just open up, and I just have it imagine the screen is my workspace screen. I'd have the bottom corner of my workspace, just with the Google Chrome tab that has Chrome Remote on it, and I would have it split with my pay-to-play client and my free-to-play client full screened on my computer at home. And I'm usually mining amethyst on my pay-to-play, and then I'm usually doing flesh crawlers on my free-to-play while I'm at work. because I can't have Google Chrome up all the time. Um, I just want to make sure that I'm doing something that doesn't require as many clicks. I've tried doing wood cutting through it, but you really have to be able to click every couple minutes to still get even decent experience wood cutting while doing that. So I usually do my strength experience during the work week, and then when I get home, I'll do this. But usually my schedule is when I get home around 5:15. I usually won't play at all until like 6:30. I'll spend an hour unwinding, hang out with my fiance, pet the dog, usually go on a walk, make dinner, eat dinner, those type of things. Around 6:30 to 9 or so, I'll usually either sit on the couch with my laptop or on my iPad, and I'll play both accounts, depending on what I'm doing on the pay to play. If I'm like this week, I've been doing a little bit of Hydra, so I've been just using my laptop and split screening and wood cutting while I do Hydra. But if I'm doing something more AFK or less click intensive, like running rooftops or making potions or whatever, I'll even use my iPad, and I'll play the pay to play account on my iPad, and then I have this little magnetic strip that connects my phone to the top of my iPad to essentially make it like two screens. And then I'll just do some wood cutting on the free to play account while I'm doing that. So usually do that till about 9 or 9:30, and then I'll go lay in bed and keep wood cutting and watch YouTube until I fall asleep around 10:30. So that's usually my schedule Monday through Friday. My goal is I try to get around 200k strength experience during the workday. You can actually see I normally try to end right at a 0, so I'd be at like 72 million for the end of this week. I had a pretty busy work week this week, so on Thursday and Friday I wasn't able to do much playing, so I'm a little bit lagging behind. But since I'm almost to my weekly goal for fire making, I'll be able to switch back to flesh crawlers here. Yeah, like I was saying, try to get 200k during the workday. So that way by Friday afternoon, I'm finishing up my strength for the week, and then the weekend I'm spending on fire making. Usually I'll get around 70 to 100k experience on a weeknight when I'm playing. And then I get the rest of my million for the week on Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday I kind of am able to give myself a bit of a break, or even work ahead for next week. So while I have been playing a lot, it's been still very slow progress. See if I can actually show my rates. I need to get the... will this work? It's not going to let me. That's annoying. Well, my rates are... It's not going to let me show my rates on the recording, but I'm getting about 20k wood cutting, 28k fire making, and I've got over 12 million on each. That's a pretty large sample size. It's counting for AFK time, it's probably like 25, 32k. So it's really slow progress. But I think it'll be kind of sick to have gotten 200 mil fire making wood cutting without like actively playing. There it is, 50 million fire making. So yeah, I'm still enjoying this account. It's been it's something that's kind of become second nature for me, having this account up all the time and kind of molding my life around it to try to take full advantage of my day and make sure I'm squeezing out every minute of active time I can into it, knowing that I have a lot of in real life responsibilities from work, and I'm getting married here soon, and dog and friends and family and extracurriculars. There's just a lot going on. So as far as anything else to update on this account, I really haven't done anything except for strength and woodcut fire make. Getting a lot of GZs in the clan cat chat. And with the TY. So yeah, I don't know if I have a specific goal before the end of the year, but I just want to keep doing 1 mil. I found doing a million of fire making million of strength has been kind of the perfect amount for me. It's anywhere from like 28 to 30 ep a week. I can get it without having to, fight too hard, but it's still enough playing that I feel like I'm making decent progress. There's going to be some weeks coming up here during the summer too where I'm just not going to be able to play very much. I have my engagement party coming up here in June in about 3 weeks. Like that weekend, I don't foresee myself playing a whole ton. We got some trips also planned this summer. Living here in Colorado. Since I don't work for my old job that required me to have my summers fully booked with shit, I'm actually looking forward to the first time having my summers off. And the nice thing about my new job is from Memorial Day to Labor Day, so end of May until early September, I'll only have to work half-day Fridays. So I'll get off at 1 p.m. every Friday. So there'll be some opportunities for me and my fiance to do some weekend trips and go camping. We haven't been camping in several years just because I don't have any time in the summer before. There's a lot of cool little towns, a couple hours outside of where we live here in Colorado, where it's fun to just pack up for the weekend and go to a hot springs, stay at a campground, do more glamping. I'm not as big into like the outdoorsy stuff as she is, but I can do some glamping. We'll go to a hot springs nearby in Buena Vista that has a Wi-Fi. So it's not really camping, but it's fun because you can still get the fun parts of camping without all the bullshit, and I can still get a little bit of escape in it on my iPad and still watch TV, watch some sports. Especially fun in like September when football's on. You can still make a campfire and do some grilling, and then you're still got like showers and stuff in the campground. So that's more my speed of camping, right? So, but definitely a fun summer stuff coming up. And now that I'm at the point in this account that I can take a week off or a few days off and not be too worried about it, it's pretty nice. So as far as down the road, if I ever do max or get a 200 mil of woodcut fire make, I could see myself going back to fishing and cooking, especially once I slow down on my pay to play account. I've started to slow down a little bit. I've still got some pretty big goals here coming up, but I could see myself in the next year or two starting to slow down and focus on a little more AFK on that account and maybe do some more active skilling here. I do enjoy Erie fishing, and that could be a fun one to try to get some big numbers in, but I don't know. I'm just trying not to think too much about it. I'm going to be stacking a freaking colossal number of bone fragments. I think doing some rune crafting down the road just to go for some ranks could be kind of fun. I don't foresee myself doing any smithing or crafting really. Who knows, maybe, but it's hard to say right now. I just love click and tree. Another thing I never talked about is I have a Watchdog plugin set up. I'm so used to them that they don't even faze me anymore. But it's really helped me optimize AFKing here. I do different color screen flashes for when my inventory gets full of logs, versus when it empties for when I'm fire making, versus when the tree that I'm standing next to is downed. So if I'm doing something that's semi-click intensive on the pay-to-play account, I can kind of, without even looking at this as a client, just pop over and click to the next tree. Allows me to maintain quote-unquote efficient rates while you're AFKing without really putting any thought or effort into this as a client. It's kind of crazy how much experience an hour you can save, kind of, or be more efficient by doing that. Actually, now that I've hit my weekly fire making, let's go switch over and do some flesh crawlers. So usually I'll just run over here. I'll do some 0 time fire making to get over to the bank, if I can do it right. I'll come over here. Don't look at my pen. I've got I have all my bank tabs set up for my pay to play, but I've got just my one little bank tab for my free to play, just with all my shit on it. So I'll just grab some items here. Oh, we got a 99 range. Congrats, a rare fish. Getting a shout out in the video. Look at you go. Alright, where was I? Already had a muleta. So then, yeah, I'll grab my items out. I'm actually running really low on trout and salmon. I really need to spend some time get my bank back up, but I'm just too fucking lazy to do it. So what I'll do is I'll just grab out my fishing stuff, and then I'll just go fish in inventory. Cause fuck them. Gotta make sure I turn on a NPC aggression timer. It won't update till I go back underground. So yeah, I'll just come over here, fish a little bit of fishies. It's nice. Make sure I turn off my entity hider, so I can make sure I'm not going into a world that has like 15 dudes in it down there. 'Cause sometimes that'll happen. There's so many bots that do flesh crawlers. But for how active that I am with this game, I've spent a decent amount of time trying Catawba bonds out and even giant spiders. But giant spiders can be cool, but you just don't get any drops, and I like getting the fragments. So I wouldn't really consider them. I would do either Catawba bonds or flesh crawlers, and with Catawba bonds, I find that you just get hit too often that it's really just not good. There's plenty of activities I do on the other account where I could probably get away with it just fine. I just really can't be bothered. You know, doing flesh crawlers is just so second nature that I don't know. I'm just rambling. Let's finish getting this inventory fish. This playlist I've been listening to, it's been the one I use for most of my streams too. It's the unpragmatic covers of old school RuneScape sounds. It's nice because you can play music without having to worry about a copyright strike. A little optimization here. Do a 2.5 tick hook. I should turn off my screen flash. That's fucking annoying. Usually I just leave them on, but I could understand how for the video that could be a little bit jarring. So after every second fish, you just recook. Saves the tick every 2 cycles, so technically it's a half tick saved. And then you 1 tick the last one in your inventory. Would be technically faster to drop them all, but who's got time for that shit? But yeah, as far as like motivations to keep playing, you know, not much more than just see number go up. I love the consistency of being able to hit your goal every single week. It feels good, like late Saturday, early Sunday, once you've kind of hit your goal for the week. And you know that, like, you know, I did it another week, man. Another week around the sun. And I've been really consistent with hitting my weekly goals, going back all the way to like 2021. It's kind of crazy the way this is. RuneScape has really just become like a second screen, you know, part of my life. Like there's only one other dude here, so I'll come and crash him. There's some guides out there. I think Automology made a video about optimizing fleshies, and it, you know, if you go all the way around, you can reset the aggro to where it'll actually be better lines. Sometimes I'll do that, but sometimes I like how the lines are set automatically, especially if I'm able to have my client up. So it makes it to where when you have to click through the door to reset aggro, which can be a little bit annoying. But it can sometimes, if you come in with the way it's automatically set, it'll set the lines up to where you can do like a 2-tile run skip and not reset the lines and have it set to where it's just a 1-tile reset. It's kind of hard to explain. Maybe if I'm still recording when it shows it, I can show it up. Oh no, there's like 2 other fucking dudes here. So, I swear these guys just fucking spawn out of nowhere. That's what I get for being on the 301 world. It's always just full of fucking crazies. I usually don't do a ton of fleshes on the weekend because it is just so packed. But since I was slacking on my fleshies during the week, I kind of gotta catch back up. I'll leave that here. Let's actually switch over to my other account. Alright, we got that going. I'm currently in the Inferno. That's what I've been learning here recently. The Inferno is hard as fuck. and it has not been coming to me as easy as I thought it would. I've only done a couple attempts, and I've still haven't got past wave 48 in the 3 attempts I've done. So rather than just brute forcing attempts, this last week I should say, I've been grinding the simulator hard. The simulators they have are incredible, but just last night I got to where I feel like I'm comfortable with all the waves. I feel like there's like a 90 to 95% chance that I can clear just about any wave. I'm still struggling with triple jads and Zuck, so I gotta spend some more time on it there. But I think even this afternoon I might send some more runs just because I want to get past my wave 48 PB. But the Zuck fight in particular is really hard. The healers, I've gotten to the healers a couple times on the simulator and I always get destroyed. But I think it's only a matter of time. I've only been grinding this now for like 5 or 6 days. I know some people it takes months to beat the Inferno. I'm hopeful that this weekend I get really comfortable at Zuck on the simulator, and by next weekend or the weekend after, I'm either getting the cape or like at least getting to Zuck like consistently, and then at that point it's only a matter of time, right? But it's been a lot of fun. Where did my client go? Just downsized. Quick update though on where I've been since this account. I think last time I even showed it was in a video well over a year ago, and I've made a ton of progress. Almost 2,300 total. I have not had a max kind of mindset with this account. I could have easily maxed if that was a focus of mine. Basically, all my skilling at this point kind of comes as a result of getting extra supplies on my account. I have almost or over 30 mil range now. I've done a lot of PVM on this account. And I also do a lot of AFKing during the workday. Like I'm only level 96 mining, but I've gone from 90 to 96 only at Amethyst basically. Grinding a lot of darts and arrow tips to use for my PVM. Almost 300 mil. I haven't quite passed the free-to-play yet as far as total experience. That'll probably be coming in the next 6 months or so, because this account really hasn't been experience focused. I figure I go through my collection log. We got to pad the runtime here a little bit, get some rambles going for people. So I figure I just go through some bosses and just kind of explain what my thought process was and why I was killing them. This is a nice cover of Doom. Turn that down a little bit. Love playing Doom. Quick aside, it was one of the first games I had on Steam. I used to play that shit and smoke weed. There's just something that takes me back about like just getting high out of your fucking gourd and listening to music and playing Doom on a DOS emulator on Steam. But I digress. Abyssal Sire, I only got 4 unsireds and I completed the Bludgeon. This was, probably over a year ago now, and I got Spoon the Pet, which was really cool. The main reason I wanted to do Sire was to get the Bludgeon to do a Raxor, so I got pretty lucky there. I only did Sire after they made the changes to it, so it wasn't too bad. I know Sire is pretty well revered as one of the worst bosses in the game, but since the changes, I don't think it's quite as bad. Like you can one-hit the vents with the Demon Bane weapons, and it's just a lot quicker. You can damage it during its like moving animation now at like a 25% reduced or something like that, which just speeds up the kills quite a bit. I enjoyed Sire, but I don't know if I have plans anytime soon to go back. I don't think until I meet some of my current goals will I go back to try to complete some of the stuff. Hydra is another side grind that I'm actually still currently working on. Probably 4 or 5 months ago, I did Turiel Skipping's Hydra to get about 600 kills, and I got Spoon 2 Claws, so I was really lucky there. And I actually got the pet on like KC7. It was like my first trip while I was still learning the mechanics. That was unexpected. But I got the Claw to do raids, which was really fun. This was a nice grind. It really pads your bank value. Still going back to the leather though. Got the ring. I will probably keep going until I get the leather. That's one of the main upgrades I will need to keep doing to Tombs of Amasket more efficient down the road here. Barrows, I did a fair amount just to get them more Eternia hard. It took me until 428 to complete my first set. Or no, that's not true. I completed another set recently. It was still around 400 though. I was getting pretty unlucky with the dupes and stuff, but I enjoy Barrows. I haven't touched Brutus. Still haven't really touched the wilderness bosses ever since I got my dragon pick a long time ago. Cerberus was another one I spent a lot of time at. I spent, gosh, almost a full month just tutorial skipping Cerberus and Kriara tasks to both get Arma pieces and max my treads. I was stuck at 3 Pegasians and 3 Primordials for the longest fucking time. I was at like 500 KC and it took me till 1600 just to finally get my Eternal, be able to max my treads. I went from hating Cerberus to actually kind of liking Cerberus to then just getting fucking sick of Cerberus by the end. But I think overall, I think if you check some of my past streams, or I was doing the prayer flicking method where it's pretty fun. It's an easy boss that, you know, has some room for optimization. I enjoyed it. Did a little bit of Zillion. I can't remember why. That was a stupid boss. Dagonoth Kings has been fun. Doing a triple prey flicking Dagonoth Kings and having a tri-bridge setup is kind of fun once you get fun gear. I did get Spoon, the Pet Supreme, which is kind of annoying because it would actually be more efficient for me to now not kill Supreme, but it's kind of fucking annoying to do that. So I don't know, down the road. I will need to go back and grind more rings once I do the Desert Treasure 2 bosses, which I actually haven't even touched on this account. But sometimes they're fun to kill. Doom. Oh, Doom. I got so spooned at Doom. I'm only at 661 dives. I got all 3 main drops before I even got my first Wave 8 clear, which I know some people would probably be seething if they saw that. For my first about 500 dives while I was learning the content, I was just doing Wave 1 through 7 resets just because to me, I didn't, you know, when I was playing after work, I just didn't have the mental bandwidth to deal with like getting slapped at Wave 8. But the week that I was like, okay, I'm finally going to learn Wave 8, you know, a couple times I got to the Volatile Earth phase, and I feel like I was right there to like getting it. Like on the run that I felt like I was actually going to get it, I finally got the Ayak, which was my last item. I'm like, well, guess I'm done. I got Spoon the Treads on a Wave 4 clear while I was still learning. That's back when my deepest dive was like a Wave 5. So I got insanely fucking lucky here. Which is great because I don't really love Doom that much. So I'm lucky that I don't have to spend a lot of time doing that. But yeah, it's been interesting. I haven't touched Desert Treasure 2 bosses. It's kind of insane. I've been playing this account for 2 years and haven't touched them. I've just been very methodical with my upgrades and the content I've been doing, and I just you know, haven't felt the need to yet. But as I start going for some raid items here, it's finally time to go through and do this. So we'll get there at some point. I'm thinking the next like 6 months, I'll start grinding. I think a Vardorvis will be the one I go for first, but I see myself going for at least the ring on all of them, probably getting some Virtus pieces. But when I get to my raids tab, you'll see why I haven't necessarily needed Virtus, which is fun. Colosseum, if I ever do get this Infernal Cape, this will be the next thing I go for. General Gardor, I did this, God, probably over 6 months ago now. Almost 900 kills to get my bandos. Probably even been longer than that. It's probably been like 8 or 9 months. Time flies, but I'd gotten 5 bandos boot drops before I got either of my bandos pieces, so that was kind of fun. I did door altar the entire way. That's a fun method. Huey Codal I did a little bit of just to get the Dragon Hunter wand. That's actually still my best in slot mage weapon for the Inferno here. Calvite Queen. Did Krill to get the spear back when I started Tua. I keep calling it Tua like he's the fucking quarterback of the Dolphins. Toa. Tombs of a Masket, not fucking Tua Tagovailoa. You know what I'm saying. What else have I done? Royal Titans I did a long time ago. Yama. Yama's one I plan on going back to. I did mage only Yama to get just a double death charge at 20. Yama was one that it was not clicking for me right away, but once it clicks, it's like, oh, I can do this, and it's really not that hard at all. So I definitely plan on going back and doing some melee Yama, learning like Dono Fly and that shit. Now that I figured out how the third phase of Yama works, because it is kind of a brain buster. Because the trick that I found is don't switch your prayers as fast as you need to think you need to switch them. Just listen for the sound, and every time he attacks, that's when you switch your prayers. I know it sounds easy, but when you're like dancing in the boss fight, it can be kind of overwhelming. But it uses up so much of your magic supplies when you're doing mage only kills. So I will definitely go back and do some melee kills. But it's a lot of fun. I'll probably do melee kills and then just do range phase 3. And probably until I do another couple hundred that way, until I get more comfortable, and then I'll start doing like the Dono Fly and stuff. But really, the Oath Plate is kind of a smaller upgrade for right now. I could see that being a grind I go for when I'm like concurrently going for the Shadow or something. We'll see. It's kind of fun. Zulrah I've done quite a bit of. I really enjoy Zulrah. I think I talked about it a little bit in one of my other videos, but Zulrah is one of those easier bosses that is just a lot of fun. I think I did about 250 kills just using the Zulrah plugin, and then I started to get really bored. So I made a challenge to myself to memorize all the Zulrah spawns and the rotations, and that made it really fun. I did the rest of them with them memorized, which is fun because then you can kill Zulrah on mobile really easily. I did Bolfa only kills for about 500, and then as that started to get kind of stale, I started integrating in mage swaps. And it really becomes a fun boss with a lot of fun swaps and movement once you learn it all. The reason I killed 1,000, it took me forever to get my my Fang, and I ended up getting the boss or the pet and 2 mutagens. I could see myself going back to Zulrah to grind out these other 2 drops down the road, just because this is a boss that is fun and I enjoy. But the fun thing we want to talk about, raids, and this lovely, lovely Twisted Bow. I got spooned this on KC-168. Haven't touched it since then. I have one of the fucking stupidest Chambers logs ever. I have the Twisted Bow, 4 claws, and an Ancestral Top, all from 168 solos, and I still don't even have a damn Arcane. So I will keep doing regulars at some point to at least get my Arcane before I move on to challenge modes. I still have never done a group raid in this game. I've only done solos. Learning solo Olm was really hard, but what is nice about it is you can just do a raid and die over and over again, and while you lose points, you can just jump right back in until you learn the mechanics. When I was first learning, it just was not clicking. The whole 4-to-1 cycle is it's such a different like concept than other tick methods in old school RuneScape. It really took my brain a long time to conceptualize it and wrap my brain around it. I think I spent like a full 6-hour log one night just going in there and dying over and over and over again to Olm and just practicing like getting into 4-to-1. And it's annoying because once you run out of supplies and you just keep jumping back in, you don't last very long before you die again. So it was a very slow, arduous process of like getting back into 4-to-1 and trying to hold it as long as you could, to where eventually it became such like second nature that doing 4-to-1 Olm is going to be one of those things that I'm like going to be ingrained into my brain even when I'm like 70 years old. But it's a lot of fun, and I went from like kind of resenting the Olm fight to really loving it and really enjoying Chambers. Doing like unscaled, just regular solos is fun content. I'll usually scout. For all these, I scouted for easier raids. I still have never done a raid that has like Vespula or the other one. I can't even fucking remember what it is. I started doing Vanguards because turns out Vanguards, they tell you to skip all the Vs, but Vanguards is actually a really easy one to do. But as I want to get more efficient at these, I'll start doing some of those V rooms because they're actually pretty fast. But yeah, and then Tombs of a Masket as well. I have 3 fucking pets of this thing. I've done basically all 350s and some 300s. I kept reason I stopped doing this was because I finally got my light bearer. That was the thing I was grinding out. And in the process, I've gotten most of the other drops, which is nice. This is actually one of the reasons I went back to go do Kree, which I just skipped over for some reason. Where the hell did Kree go? Yeah, one of my last videos I was doing Kree, and I was able to do a 38 kill trip with the Bofa, which was fun. I looked up a lot of methods on doing Kree, and there's a lot of stuff online from doing chins. I did chins for a little bit, but I only had about 3k chins, so those ran out quick. There's a lot of methods with doing like twisted bow and flicking shields and stuff. And really, the method I found that was the best was just one tick flicking with the Bofa. I was able to do like 30 kill trips pretty reliably with that, and then tick flicking and trying to preserve your prayer. The reason I did that is to get Armadillo chestplate, which I got 2 of luckily, to kind of complete my range set, since I have both the head and the legs from Asori. So once I get my Desert Treasure rings, my Infernal Cape, my quiver, I will have all of the pieces to start efficiently doing like 425s and start going for the Shadow. I enjoy doing tombs, but it's not a raid that I can just like grind back to back to back. It's one that I have to split up during the day. And I really enjoy that way of playing, where I'll do like one raid in the morning, you know, a raid when I get home from work, and one before bed, and kind of make it that goal to do like 3 a day. I think if I do that, I will be able to get this grind knocked out. I think it's got about a 1 in 600, maybe 1 in 500. So I might be committing myself to like a 6-month grind, but you know, it's something I'm really looking forward to doing. And now that I have the light bearer, I can start pushing past that 350 invocation and start doing some of those higher level strategies with using the yellow Karis, and I finally did learn Insanity too. I did all of these 350s without Insanity, and then it was like my last 3 kills. I was like, okay, I just need to. I set it down to 300 and put Insanity on, and I was like, it really was not that bad, and I feel like I kind of got over that mental hump of Insanity. So I'm feeling like when I go back, you know, I'm just going to jump right back into doing Insanity, and it's just going to become one of those things that's kind of second nature. Insanity gets a little sketchy, especially when you're doing the skip. I'm fucking blanking on what's it called. The point skip, where you like shoot the thing in the middle. My brain is just not working right now. Real ones know what I'm talking about, but it gets a little sketchy with that, with the timing. What I was worried about was like last row, but once you figure out how the shadows work on the last row, it's really not bad at all. And the last row part of it, and like the phase 4 of Tumakin's shadow or Tumakin's whatever, I feel really confident about. It's the other parts of the fight that Insanity messed me up, and doing the 3 tick versus the 4 tick attack cycle. But that's enough rambling about that. So Shadow is on the horizon. Getting Prayer Scroll. I enjoy Chambers enough that I definitely see myself doing some CMs down the road. I don't know if I necessarily want to set myself the goal of getting like an Elder Maul, just because it's not that useful of an item. But once I get my Shadow, that's when I'll be able to start going back and actually working on some combat achievements. I have not actively gone for a single combat achievement in this game, which I kind of regret doing, because there's a lot of bosses I'm going to have to go back at and do some really easy combat achievements that I could have knocked out had I just cared enough to, like a Kriara and like some God Wars bosses, for example. But what am I? So I've done hard. I'm on Elite right now. But I still have a lot of like easy and medium tasks that I have to go and do. Let's look. Can I look at my Grandmaster tasks that I've done? Can we look at complete all? Some of them, these have all come passively, like CG happens. Tombs of a Mask get 50 experts. I randomly got the perfect Z back, which is hilarious because this is the one I die the most on, but I randomly got the Perfective Krondus and killed a Raxor without the boss ever moving. Some master ones, just Cerberus, CG, Hydra, all the doing a certain number of time tasks, which are easy. Hydra without lightning, these are all pretty easy ones without being hit by Flame Wall. Chamber of Zarek, 75. solo, stuff like that. Yeah, but I like that these are something kind of to go for at the end of the account. I gotta reset aggro on my other account. But yeah, I don't really have a ton of skilling goals either on this account. Sometimes, like during the work week when I get home, I'll do some real light skilling, like doing some blood runes at Zaya, doing some giant foundry, doing some rooftops, doing some like AFK barb fishing. Skilling has just been so fucking slow, and I really should just buckle down and get them knocked out. But honestly, the max cape is just like not that big of a buff. I don't need it until I start like grinding clue scrolls out. I don't really see a need for it because the construction cape works just fine. And with all the amenities you have in your house, you have access to like a bank pretty quick. Bank value is at 3.8 billion. The Twisted Bow is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. I think at the start of January, I made a note that I was exactly at 1.0 bill. So I've almost quadrupled it in 5 months since then, thanks to the T-Bow and some other big drops. So cash stack is a little modest right now. Since I'm still grinding Hydra for the leather, that'll go back over 100 million before too long. Bank space is always kind of a fun thing I'm dealing with. I'm pretty lazy about organizing on this account. But other drops, it's not all. Since I started using bank tabs, I don't have any of this short organized. Bank tabs are such a game changer for the things I need it for. But I'll go to this tab to do my herb runs. This is more like a just random tab of skilling that I'll pull stuff out of. My herb tab, it all looks like shit. There's just stuff everywhere. My alching tab, I can actually take a lot of these bank placeholders out. That'll help me on bank space. And this is like potion and food tab. So I've been rambling for about 40 minutes. You know, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. I think over the next several months, you know, I could see myself making another video maybe around Christmas time when I've maybe got to like 75 or maybe 100 mil. I won't be at 100 mil fire making by then on the other account. We'll see. I think I'll just kind of make them when I feel like it. I don't know if I'll necessarily wait till like big milestones to do them. I just thought this was a good weekend to do it. I also don't really have any fun clips saved. I know usually my videos I like to put some clips at the end, but you know, a fun clip would be me getting my Infernal Cape, but I haven't fucking done it yet. Maybe I'll hold this video until I get it. Who are we kidding? I'm probably not going to do that. But that's all I wanted to talk about. Appreciate you guys sticking around and watching. Yeah, man, I'm just going to keep doing my thing. How does it feel to treat me like you do?